What's up, Coop? What's up, Coop? You hear me?
All right, let's see. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother.
All right, now we got it going on.
You hear me now? Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, now we got it going on. You hear me now?
Getting some feedback,
All right.
but yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I closed my other YouTube window. Let me know how the feedback is now.
Sounds like it's good now.
All right. How you doing today, brother?
Yeah, same old same, man. What you up to?
Shit. Just finished work. Just finishing some things up here.
Yeah, good deal. What up, Kingpin? Show you guys what I got. This little joker in my lap sitting over here drawing and coloring. So if you see me doing anything, that's him.
Okay.
So in a lot better video or a lot better mood than the last video he was in, huh?
Yeah.
So we ain't tired and cranky today.
Okay.
Oh yeah, dude, kicking butt, man. He's cool. He's one of the bigger banded kings that I've caught in a while. Unless you're talking about the hog nose and that little joker, he's doing good. What you got, Wubba? Here, you want to stand up? No, I was just messing around, man. I was listening to these guys at the damn NRA conference, and just finished up a bunch of SDI stuff. So figured I'd, huh?
What was this conference you're streaming here?
Oh, the NRA conference is going on right now.
Oh shit, that's right.
So
I figured there'd be a bunch of people out there protesting, shit because of.
Yeah, there probably is. I haven't seen them yet, but Ted Cruz just got done speaking. Now you got who's up there? Tony was up there, the Lieutenant Governor of South Carolina. So I was just messing around, man. I wasn't really doing anything serious. I was just goofing off.
Oh, okay.
So me and the Wubs was hanging out, and we decided we'd just go live and run it, huh, Wubs?
Nice. Here, Roscoe. Roscoe, come here, Bubba. Come here.
Look, Wubba, look, watch Corn Pop. His puppy's coming in there. See the puppy?
Come here.
Say hey, puppy.
Say hi.
Say hi.
Papa, what?
Yeah, come on. Stand up here and draw. Oh, man. So how's the week been, brother?
It's been good, man. Just busy, but freaking hot as all hell down here in Florida right now. I bet it's pretty hot too in Alabama, though, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, man. The humidity's just been hell on wheels, especially with this rain rolling in and out. God.
Yeah, we had nothing but rain. We hadn't had rain in the last like 2 or 3 days, but before that, we had like probably a solid 2 or 3 days in a row of rain. It was humid as all hell, and it's not fun.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like it's, I've noticed real estate prices are starting to drop. I think it's a combination of, the recession, and then I think all these people moving to Florida, they're used to only coming down here during the winter, and then they don't realize that how bad it gets during like the summer.
Well, so some of it's interest rates right now because interest rates are up. So a couple months ago, interest rates were dropping down to 4 point something, almost below 4 point, and now they're coming back up and they're about 5.5. So yeah, they're the home buyers market's kind of slowing down. What's up, Vanessa? What's up, boy? Oh yeah, there it is. I love that.
I was thinking about like taking some of these little not GI Joe guns and like having them like in the back, like like.
Dude, I seriously need to do that with some of those cuts. Just get some of the little freaking like say the GI Joe guns and freaking place them somewhere on them.
Make it look like there's like a pile of them in the back or something.
Yeah, stuff like that. Because when you cut stuff with plasma, you've got a certain amount of kerf that you lose with every part of the cut. So you could do stuff like that with like the little plastic guns and really dress some stuff up. Boy, what are you doing?
Find me some little hanging nails.
Yeah, that's all my stuff's hung with is like freaking finishing nails and shit. Oh, come here. What's up, Dirt? So yeah, guys, we're just playing around right now. We're just hanging out.
It's all good.
I was watching some stuff on the NRA conference and watching the last press conference over this shooting and just decided to go live and hang out. What's up, Warsaw? So then the Wubba broke out of his enclosure and decided to run in here. So now he's highlighting everything on the planet. Huh. What are you doing now,
I
kid?
found there's a gun shop near me, and like I always go by there because he buys from like state sales and everything. And I got this really old box of Remington.
Oh,
this guy had like a case of this stuff, man. So I picked up a box just because I thought it was cool. It's 110 grain. I guess that's why it's high speed. That's light for a 30-06.
Oh yeah, it is. Because normally out of 30-aught, I'm shooting 170s. I think I'm shooting 168s right now.
Even the light load.
What year is that?
Was a 1. Good question. I probably should look up the lot number, but it's a little tarnished, but it's
Oh yeah, man.
It's still a Spitzer.
Oh yeah.
It's old when they're advertising non-corrosive.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because all the salts and stuff in the primers, I mean, they need a gun up if you let them.
I bought a bunch of weird stuff. What else did I get? I'll show you. I got this too. I got a little Keltec P32. I know people like rag on 32, but that little Keltec P32 is so convenient because it has that belt clip, so I can just clip it into my belt, even if I'm wearing like board shorts. I bought some of this because he had this in a store that he's had forever.
Oh yeah, man, good deal.
And it's pretty hot.
Buffalo Bull. I don't think I've ever seen Buffalo Bull.
This is the first time I've ever seen.
He ought to be smoking. Yeah.
And it's hard cast because you're not supposed to use hollow points with 32 because they don't expand that well. So you just go for penetration.
Oh man, dude, it's like years ago. I bought when I was with one of my ex-girlfriends. I bought her a little 25 automatic, a little Raven 25. And that's just a get off me gun. You're not looking at distance with it. You're just looking if someone gets on you to put that joker in their stomach or their chest and pull the trigger till it's empty. And I'll guarantee you all the fight's going to go out of them. Oh yeah, Vanessa. I know a lot of teachers that would choose to be armed, and yeah. And it kills me. People talk about, prior military. They talk about law enforcement. Well, I'm sorry. I know a lot of guys that are prior military, a lot of retired guys. The majority of them are outstanding firearms. Some of them, not so much. I know some guys from law enforcement that are great with firearms. I know some, not so much. If it came down to just percentages, out of the people I know, just civilians that are good with firearms, there's a lot of them. So, yeah, Corn Pop's showing off everything back there, man. He makes me so freaking jealous. I show off one gun, and then Corn Pop's got to show off the MG back there. Oh yeah, Warsaw, man. Yeah, dude. If you're ordering medical, man, more power to you. My work bag here. Yeah, I know. You know your ABCs. My work bag that I carry pretty much with me everywhere. The center pocket in it is where one of my move your head, boy. Where one of my big med kit lives. So that thing goes with me everywhere. That's got tourniquets in it. It's got combat gauze. It's got, tons of stuff in it for basically any kind of wound you could get. Yeah, the biggest thing with ordering any kind of medical, and I've been burned on a couple of them, is if you want to order a cat tourniquet, make sure it's actually a cat tourniquet. If you're looking at getting a cat, or what it says is a cat tourniquet for like $25, it's probably not a true cat tourniquet. That's why I recommend people, if you look up Skinny Medic, Skinny Medic is a good guy to order from. And if you don't follow them on YouTube, you probably should. Skinny Medic's real good. North American Rescue, I think, is who makes a lot of this stuff. They're good to stay with. Lone Wolf, yeah, dude. As long as it is a true cat. Now, I have one cat or one tourniquet that's not a cat that's fashioned after a cat, but the windlass on it is actually metal. It's a big, heavy windlass. And I've cranked that down on myself to test it, and it doesn't take many turns, and it will cut the blood flow off exceptionally. Boy, you killed me. You know where you hide everybody else?
I gotta figure out maybe it's double-sided tape, but I was gonna have make like a pile of, so he has like a pile of weapons in the.
Yeah, dude, that would look absolutely cool. There's, like I said, there's some finer detail that if I hooked up with a water jet, it would cut, and I could cut some really, really fine stuff. But there's some stuff like what you're doing that I like to do. You waving hi to everybody? You want to say, let's see. We got Miss Kitty's in here, and Bull Rush just showed up, and Dirt's in here, and you're back to highlighting. Woo woo. You want to tell everybody your ABCs?
Yay!
You want to tell everybody your ABCs?
Yay!
Do you want to do your ABCs? Not just say yay. Do you want to tell everybody your ABCs? No, we're back to marking. Oh, well, yeah. Well, the last time he was on anything live, I'd been up for like over 48 hours. And yeah, I was pretty much going out. Hey, Tactical, what's up, brother? Boy, you're killing me.
I know.
You know? Oh, yeah, I know you know. But now, has anybody been paying attention to all the stuff going on with the shooting and all that kind of crap they're trying to push right now with the new, of course,
I've
the
been
new
going back
gun
and they're looking at it.
control. Dude, they said today that cat crashed his car. He shot at people at a funeral, then was out in front of the school for over 12 minutes, shooting in front of the school for over 12 minutes, and then was still able to walk through the back door of the school and gain entry. None of this is making any sense to me.
Yeah, he didn't even have a driver's license, man. And know what I find really weird, Coop? Like, you know as well as I do. Like, we both have pretty extensive collections. We appreciate nice stuff. Yeah. I don't have a Daniel Offense AR-15, like, just because I could build one for a lot, assemble one for a lot cheaper. I'm not going to, pay $3,000 for an AR-15 that I could make with better components that are cheaper. And this kid, no kid that's going to go out and plan on doing something like that. Not only did he buy one, he bought two. I could be wrong on this. I think I'm right though. He bought two Daniel Offense AR-15s. That's like almost probably, $5,500, $6,000 in ARs. And you're telling me a kid that worked a job at, like, I think he was a waiter or something. This kid that just turned 18 had $6,000 to drop. There's just something fishy about all that, man.
Yeah, there's something seriously fishy about this whole thing. I mean, like you say, I throw quite a bit of money into stuff that I build. That kind of helps out with the price that I've got in these guns. But you're telling me again, like you say, this 18-year-old kid went out and bought two Daniel Defense guns and starts blasting. Now, the other thing is they say he posted on social media that he shot his grandmother like an hour before he went out and did the shooting.
It's such a piece of shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I couldn't post it. I couldn't bring a slide on this live, or couldn't bring a whole gun on this live stream right now without YouTube shooting us down because I had a whole gun in the live stream.
That's why.
But you're telling me this kid got away with posting this crap and no one found it?
He posted some. He took a picture of his AR and sent it to some German girl, and then said like, "Oh, you're going to be famous, honey," or something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, like, "Oh, you should retweet this or repost this because you're going to be, you're going to be famous."
Yeah. And if you look at this dude, there have been some reports that he was like transitioning and on hormone blockers and all this stuff, and
I'll show you a picture.
Yeah, looking at the pictures. Yeah, looking at the pictures I've seen of this cat, I'm sorry, he wasn't your average straight dude. What are you doing? Huh? What? You want to go back and watch ABCs? Yeah, give me a second. Let me get him back watching. Yeah. That is not your average straight dude. I'm sorry, that's not. So, yeah, give me just a second, guys.
It's all good.
Go watch ABCs.
I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this is how I go out every Friday night. But, that's the worst marketing Coca-Cola's ever gotten right there. Yeah, Roscoe. What are you doing? Oh, yeah. I got you some. I'll be right back, guys. I got you a new toy when I was out here. Yeah.
Somebody's barking. Yes, is this whole thing, and the timing of it and everything. I mean, I understand things happen when they happen, but it's more than a little screwy to me. Anyway, show you. This is a guy I was showing off in the video yesterday. So this is an Eastern King. Man, it's you work in a building. Someone starts shooting out front of that building. And from what we're hearing now, it's 12 minutes of this guy shooting out in front of the building. You're telling me that they couldn't lock that building down so that this guy couldn't enter the building? I'm sorry, even if there were no officers in the building or not, a janitor could go lock down that building. What in the world you got?
The girlfriend got him some new toys.
Uh-oh.
Dropped off earlier. I forget to give it to him. Yeah, you got your dinosaur. Yeah. Well, I gotta take the tag off. Hold on. There you go.
Yeah, see, where I work, we were supposed to have done some active shooter drills. I guess it was right before COVID hit, and we haven't done one since. But in the area I work in, I've got two main doors and a hallway. Of course, the doors are surrounded by glass and all that. So if we had an active shooter, which we've had a lockdown in the past, I have to pull all my guys back into an area where I can control that area. That's the only option we got. But yeah, they said like a week before that they had done some active shooter drills with this school. So who the fuck was sleeping through the active shooter drills that they didn't know? If you hear shooting, you lock the damn building down. It
doesn't make sense, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it just Vanessa, none of this makes sense. Now, I'm not saying that this is some government conspiracy. I'm not saying that this didn't happen exactly the way it happened. What I am saying is the people in that school absolutely failed, and law enforcement was apparently in contact with this kid before he did this shit, and they absolutely failed. So and of course, the left is going to use any bodies they can to stand on to push their agenda. And so far, all I've seen them do is submit a lot of bills that I've already covered. They're just basically turning them back over, trying to get them, pressed through the process.
Yeah, your video you made the other day was great, man. Like going over everything and talking about like that, Chuck Schumer's speech like that. I like to forget how you put it. Something like, that slimy son of a bitch, better leaves a trail. Like that's.
Oh yeah, man. He's such a freaking sleaze, man. He ought to have a team of people behind him with mops sweeping up the slime trail he leaves. It's unreal to me. We've had bill after bill in Congress throughout the last couple of decades on how to harden these schools so that if a shooter did make it to a campus, they couldn't get into the school. And Democrats have completely shot that stuff down every single time. Because they want to focus on the guns. They don't want to focus on the safety. They want to focus on the gun itself.
We protect our politicians, we protect our banks, we protect, all these other things that, celebrities, all these other things that we supposedly hold important, yet we can't protect our kids. You can't. We protect them with a sign that says you can't bring guns in there. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Well, it's you could take any given school, and if you went to some private schools, you will see a barrier around that school. They control the entry to that school. Even if you gain entrance to the building itself, there is still an area where you have another layer of control on the entry to get into that school. And those schools don't look like prisons. I mean, they look like outstanding. They're beautiful places. Why can't we do that with every school?
Yeah. There's a private school in Palm Beach where a guy stands by the door with, I don't know, it looked, I couldn't tell, it was too far away. It looked like either a Tavor or a Keltec.
It's probably a Keltec. Because I'm pretty sure that there were a couple of sheriff's departments that basically went through and looked at a bunch of guns and decided on using the Keltecs because, of course, the bullpup or the shorter design.
Shorter, handier, and it probably, if you were going to store it in a locker or something, or however they're storing them there, or I don't know if they are storing them there, but probably makes sense.
You look at our politicians, these same assholes that are talking about this stuff. You had January 6th, which wasn't the prettiest thing on the planet. But the only person that got killed during January 6th was a chick who got shot in the neck. Completely unarmed, just had a bag, got shot in the neck. All right. That building was in operation within hours. Now, what did they do? They put a fence around the whole damn building. They started to control entry and exits to it. Why can't we do that with schools?
And why can't we have some sort of system with all the money we piss away and all these other programs? You telling me there's not some sort of system where, you could have like some electronic lock where you only have one entry and exit, and then like maybe have it rigged up to the fire alarm, so like when the fire alarm is pulled, it unlocks all the doors. So because I like to watch the enemy just to see their perspective. And I was watching. I'm embarrassed to admit that I even watched this, but you ever heard of the Young Turks?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've heard of them. Cenk Uygur and what's her name? Psycho chick Anna, whatever.
Anna Nose Job Kasparian, whatever her name is. Yeah. I watched her, freaking out and over all this. Like, freaking conservatives are saying to harden our schools, turn our schools into war zones. And they're saying to only have one entrance and exit. Great job, morons. Like, what are they going to do during a fire? Are they all going to burn during a fire? Like, just the mentality of these people. They're just, they have such a snowflake.
It's all, to them, it's all about the gun. It's all about the tool.
Yep.
It's not about the person who's actually doing it. It's not about limiting their access to things as far as gaining access to the buildings. It's all about the gun. That's their whole deal. And like I said in that video, this isn't a binary choice. This isn't we can have guns or we can have this. It's we can have the guns and we can protect our children at the same time. And I've got, my daughter just graduated from kindergarten. She's going into first grade next year. I pick her up from school just about every day. I see the way that school looks. I worry about things like this. That's a very real thought to me.
And here we are sending billions of dollars a year to Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's like, you telling me, like, so I saw one of my Facebook friends, or it might have been a politician, I forget who it was, post, and it was, we're spending like, what is it now, like 70 billion we've sent to Ukraine, or that we plan on sending.
It's got to be over 70 bill by now.
And it's like, okay, we're doing that, but you're telling me you can't, like every school in America, we couldn't have some sort of program where we have some retired veteran or some, guy with a lot of like, legitimate training that we can pay $70K a year to sit in the school and like, watch all the cameras, be at the one entrance and lets people in and out. Like, dude, if they had some like little kitted out person doing that, like there wouldn't be any more shootings.
They don't have to be kitted out. You could set this thing up to where you have a physical barrier around the school. Okay, you control entry through that physical barrier. Like when parents when I pick up my child, I've got to go through a line. It's not a very long process, but I get in a line, I follow the line, I go do my thing, I pick up my child. You can control entry. And you could do that, and plenty of places do, with a very aesthetic fence around or barrier around that school. And also it keeps your kids from damn running away or some guy coming pulling on campus and picking up one of the kids up. It's not just about the active shooter. When you come to people protecting the school, they could be very well plain clothes. But the thing is, you have them in areas where there's biometric or whatever, where they have a locker in their area where they could get a firearm and armor very quickly. And you have them lock down an area. If something happens where I am right now, I've got an area where I can pull all my guys back to, where I have 2 entrances to look at. I've got more entrances to the building than that, but I have 2 major funnels to look at.
It's got to be something real quick, though, and I kind of like the idea of them being kitted up because it's just a visual deterrent. I know you'll get the people saying like, "Oh, I don't like how that looks having people all with rifles and armor in the school," but that'd be a major deterrent from like an imagery standpoint.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree with that, and then I think about the point where they ain't got to be kitted up all the way; they just have to have access to it quickly. I see both of those points. The guys kitted up. I guarantee you, if your next couple of school shooters got dropped, got absolutely smoked when they tried this shit, your average school shooter would not try to do that shit again. They're going to go find their little red ball. They're going to pick it up and they're going to go somewhere else with that shit. But ever since Columbine, they haven't hardened these schools. They
the rebuttal to that, because I already saw the few anti-gun people in YouTube comments and stuff saying oh well, having an armed guard or someone like that isn't going to fix things. There were all these cops at the school and 2 cops got shot. You're telling me some teacher with a gun or some armed security guard is going to fix things when 2 cops? It's well, to be honest, I don't think those 2 cops, considering we don't know all the facts yet, but from what we do know, the guys weren't they sitting out there an hour before going in?
It was
people need to hang up their badges.
Last I heard, there were Border Patrol agents who made it to that school within a couple of minutes of the shooting starting. They were kitted up and ready to ride, ready to go in, and whoever was over that operation stopped them for over 30-something minutes. So this guy was able to not only make it in the building, he made it in that classroom and was able to shoot 2 teachers and 19 kids at this point. Last numbers that I heard. I'm sorry. There's better ways to do this stuff.
They think we don't care. We care. I mean, I don't have kids, but I could certainly empathize with how tragic it is losing kids. And I'm sure you can feel you remember watching your video. You said you went in and you hugged your daughter, when you first found out about it. It's horrible what happened. They think that oh, we just care about our guns. And it's funny when you bring up something oh, you care about the children, do you? It's okay, how about this? We'll give up all of our guns and everything, but let's also make abortion illegal because you care about the kids so much. And then you'll hear them backpedal. It's
you're dealing with people who think they have a moral high ground on something, and they absolutely don't. But the media and all the mainstream sources basically claim that they do. All right, if you care about it, and I'll draw this down very simply. Okay, I care about innocent life. I care about babies. I care about children. If you are a child molester, if you are a murderer, I no longer care about your life. Hey, Wubba, you done made it through the fence again. I no longer care about you. I care about innocent life. So I won't even say I'm necessarily pro-life. I'm pro-innocent life. I'm pro this life, because he hasn't done anything to hurt anybody. I'm more pro this snake's life. If you will harm children or you're out there murdering people, innocent people, I don't care about your life. As a matter of fact, I believe you ought to be shot right in the face. When it comes
maybe
to
the knees first, feel a little pain.
Yeah, anything like that. It just depends on how much time I have at that particular moment.
Papa,
Well,
Mama,
Do you have to stomp me there? When yours get big enough, I'm gonna get you. Ow! You killing me, kid.
So he get more of your genes, or because you said your daughter's more like your wife. Is he more like you, or what do you think?
He tends to be more like me. He's more laid back. Doesn't have the temper. Now, I get a temper with inanimate objects. With people, I've got all the patience in the world. And people that know me personally know that. I've got all the patience in the world with people. However, if you are a toaster, you should toast. If you're a dryer, you should dry. If you're a washer, you should wash. That's when I lose my temper with stuff. What's up, Rich? You gonna draw some more?
Oh, what's up, Rich? Did we lose Coop?
Yeah, my son's killing my keyboard.
No, that's okay.
But no, it's like Dirt said, we used to deal with things in a swift manner, and we don't anymore. Used to be, I think child molestation was a capital offense. It no longer is, and it very well should be. That's the only way.
Tax dollars.
Yeah. Well, that's the only way you hear someone who's going to do that to a child. I'm pretty sure if you put them down, they will never molest a child ever again. And that's what should happen. Come here.
I mean, we should definitely keep a couple of like the non-child molesters, just the molesters in jail for like the reason like you advocated the other day. Like, like for when one of these kids does, these school shooters doesn't off himself and ends up in prison, then I'm with you on. I'd put money in that guy's commissary account every week to
every single week
getting it done.
This Buffalo shooter, yeah. Dude, if I can ever figure out who his celly is and I can put money in Homeboy's account, you better believe I will put money on his books.
Boy, me and my family are going to go watch Top Gun tomorrow because it's celebrating my dad's birthday this weekend.
Well, happy birthday
Sunday, I'm
to
not
him.
doing anything, Rich. Thanks.
Yeah, Vanessa, absolutely. You should put that in the town square. They should be put down in the most heinous way possible. And I'll guarantee you it will start deterring some of this stuff. Instead of excusing it, which is what has been done for a long time. You're not responsible for what you did because somebody messed you up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. There's a lot of us go through some pretty bad shit and we don't take it out on everybody else.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. There's certain things you can say, oh, there's a condition of how they are this or that. But when you cross the line and do stuff like that, it's I don't care who touched you. I don't care what happened. Like, there's no excuse for that.
No, there's plenty of people who go through very serious traumatic events, okay? And they don't choose to inflict that trauma on anybody else. And that is a choice, whether or not you do that. So I'm sorry, whatever happened to you, if you choose to inflict that on somebody else, well, then you kind of deserve what you get at that point.
What's up, Bull Rush?
Oh, good God.
Did he get something from Techno or something? That's sound like Techno right
now. What is up with your mic?
I am your father.
Yeah. Luke.
His voice is a little low.
You want to mark with a pen?
A little echo. Still very echoey.
Very echoey. It makes James Earl Jones sound like he's got a high voice.
How's this?
That's better.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like 100 times better.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I need to start wearing a cup.
Let's go. Oh.
A, B, C, D.
Yeah, I just heard about the stuff over in Uvalde yesterday evening. My girlfriend's telling me about it.
Yeah, man. I didn't hear about it till well, it was the day it happened, but I logged on for John Crump's show, and John Crump mentioned something about it. So I'm home a little bit earlier for this little bit. So when he said something about it, I logged on and I started looking into it. I leave the mouse pad alone. But I looked at it real quick, and that's when the news reports were. One of them was still saying there were like 2 kids shot, 1 adult killed, and then then we start getting more and more information and start seeing how bad everything is. But it's the timing of it, especially the day before that we get the vote on the new ATF director. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm just saying, oh yeah, this little joker right here is more than hilarious. Daddy seriously needs a cup. I didn't need a cup this bad when I was playing football. Here. Let's see if we can hear them while we're talking
You play the
Everybody's learning their ABCs, and Corn Pop's got a belt of 50 cal around his neck.
I want to get Rich down here so he can go shoot his new safety harbor.
Oh yeah, man. Rich, you got to tell. I know they went through and they told Walt that he had to have, or that he had to have tax stamps for his 50 cals. Which I'm still wondering why Walt has to have tax stamps for his 50 cals. When 50 cals are not destructive devices. It's everything over 50 cal that is a destructive device. What's up, Crow? What do we do? We want to draw some. What do we want to draw? You want to do numbers?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
His mom's taking a nap, so we're hanging out.
ABCs are cool.
Oh, 700 nitro, dude! I'd like to have a 700 nitro just to have one.
Just to have it, yeah.
Because there's not too many guns I wouldn't have just to have. But, dude, there's a guy. I'd have to look him up again. He made a 600 Nitro Express revolver. The thing is crazy.
Well, I saw, was it the Kentucky Ballistics? Didn't he have a 700 Nitro Express, like single shot?
Single shot.
Center, like Encore. Yep. And I was like, man, that is, I don't know if I got enough cojones to want to shoot that without, at least as long as I don't have anything to do with my hands for the next week.
Oh, dude, man, I'd shoot it, but I'd probably break both wrists. But I'd try it. There was years ago I watched show with some guys. It was basically like Thompson contenders that were made for elephant hunting. So they were shooting like, I don't know, 1,100 grain projectiles out of those things. Just crazy velocities, crazy energy. And that's what they were made for, was hunting elephants. It's basically like taking a 5.77 T-Rex and turning it into a single shot pistol.
Yeah.
Hold on, give me a second.
If I can find it, because I came across it when I was moving out of my old house. I got a couple books that my mom had got me when I was a kid, and it's like, it's like one book's like There Goes a Train, another one's like There Goes a Boat. It's like
around, got a snake
for learning to read. But if I can find them, Coop, I'll send them to you for your kids.
Ooh, I'm back. Better than ever.
You got kids too, right, Bull Rush? What you have? One or two?
Do what?
You got a kid too, right? Or what do you have? One or two kids?
I got one. I just got the one. But yeah, I was actually on the phone with her just now, sorting out details for this weekend. So
Nice.
we're going to a rock concert tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Who's playing?
Good question. I'm getting forgetful of my old age, man. I can't remember shit hardly.
Well, as long as it's a rock concert, you'll be there. With your family.
It's gonna be Papa Roach, Seether, Bush, The Who, H.U. I don't know who
Oh,
those
nice.
people are. Dead Sarah in 10 years.
Are you awake, Sleeping Beauty?
No.
My wife woke up from her nap.
Not too bad of a lineup.
You got friends.
I love that. What's that one Bush song? Glycerin. Like Glycerin.
Yeah, Glycerin. Yeah,
Yeah,
Glycerin.
that's a good song. What If? That's another good song.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's Creed. Yeah, it's Creed.
Which one?
I was What If? That's Creed, right? That's not Bush, right?
Yeah, I think
What
so.
If, what
Yeah,
if?
I think you're right.
Yeah. Dude, you're going all the way back in my brain. Holy shit.
Don't show me. I'm hideous.
Yeah, the 90s have been purged from my brain due to excessive fun.
Yeah, holy shit, man.
Let's see. I wonder if I can. Oh, Donald Trump speaking at the NRA convention now.
Oh shit! I'm gonna pull that up.
Let me see whether I can do
Yeah, see if you can
see if I can do a screen share real quick.
and we can be semi-amateur commentators.
Oh yeah.
Oh, there you go. Dirt's listing them off there.
Let's see. Let's see if you can hear you guys can hear this.
Bump stocks were not enough. We need to do more. I thought I took care of it with the bump stocks, but no.
Yeah.
I got something fabulous coming up.
Can you guys hear that?
Not yet, man.
Oh.
We are going to make clones of weaponized Nancy Pelosi's and put them in every school.
Use Chrome. All right. Can you guys hear that now? Because StreamYard's a little funny.
Can you hear me now?
Still no, brother. At least not on my end. I don't know if any.
What in the hell? This thing's going to drive me up the wall.
I don't. You know more than I do, man. I don't know how to do this either.
StreamYard's funky about.
I pulled up my phone and put it on captions.
Sharing sometimes.
Where are you seeing it at? Is it live on YouTube?
No, I got this on damn C-SPAN. So if you look it up on C-SPAN, you can see it right now.
Okay.
Why in the world it won't just go ahead and share the audio? What are you doing, Snake? What are you doing?
Let's see.
So he's talking about cutting down violent crime, and
I was just worried about him. I mean, I imagine that his handlers wouldn't let him, do anything too radical, because I think he wised. At least I hope he wised up from the whole, like going after guns like bump stock thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I hope he did, but
you got to blame that on the NRA though, because the NRA told him to do that.
Well, yeah, the NRA's been useless on gun rights forever. They agreed with the Brady bill. They agreed with background checks. What are you doing, Snake?
We need to get Wayne LaPierre the heck out of there, man. And that'd be awesome if you had Eric, Iraq veteran 8888 as the NRA, and then fire all the other board members. Just have maybe Crumpet.
Eric started out with the GOA. Alan West is running for head of the NRA right now, but who knows whether he'll make that or not.
Let's see here. Texas now. Is this on your TV you're watching, or are you on a website?
I just typed it in. If you just type in C-SPAN and then go to their main website, you should see it. I don't see why it's not showing up on StreamYard, but like I said, StreamYard's kind of funny sometimes. I don't know.
It was showing, just no audio was coming through. Sometimes when you put it on there, it defaults mute. You gotta click the volume button. I don't know if that's something you can do. But.
Yeah, I thought it was showing the audio. So
let's see here. Oh, there we go. Live. There we go. Let's see if I can put captions on.
Let's see.
Or even if you can put it on and just have captions or something. Oh, crap.
Let's see, closed captions not available there. So closed captions available on C-SPAN, but it doesn't show up as well. Let's see.
Crying like never before.
Yeah.
Mr. Trump, which is the way? I can't do it good. I have some friends that can do a really good Donald Trump, but I can't do a good Donald Trump.
Yeah, he's talking about federal monuments right now, which, let's see.
I'm going to Google. I guarantee you there's every neighborhood or whatever, every town, and, every crazy soccer mom, whatever the hell their organization. I bet there's a big protest outside there. I'd be surprised if there wasn't. I was really surprised though. Most, I hate to say, I just check up on Facebook to keep up with family, but most of the Democrat friends I've had and stuff that I pick up on every now and then, they were actually not. They're I can't believe they're doing the same old attacking guns thing.
But it's what they do every time. That's why I don't see why people are so surprised about it.
I'm saying the ones I know in my life, they're not falling for it. People that in the past that would have fell for you need to take away these evil black rifles. They're starting to see the light, because a lot of Democrats that hated guns when COVID first happened. COVID woke a lot of people up when they had
Yeah, it did.
Regardless of your political affiliation. And before COVID, even all those riots, people started to think, well, hell, it might be a good idea for me to have a gun. And seeing those riots, it might be a good idea for me to have some sort of AK or AR or, something like that. Because, when you got a big old crowd of people that are being lawless, you need some sort of intimidating.
Yeah, you need some sort of force multiplier at that point. If you're a single person, you're with or getting presented with a crowd of 30, 60, 100 people. I mean, you need something there to kind of even those odds.
The protest is actually pretty small outside of the rally, which
are you seeing something about the protest outside?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. It's like a couple of the people you'd expect it to be, like fat soccer moms.
Yeah, dude, if I can get the video where I can actually present it right, there was a couple of Democrat senators and Moms Demand Action in every town had a rally yesterday about all this. And of course, it's the same old thing they're always stating. Oh, we need background checks. Well, apparently this dude passed background checks. Background checks wouldn't have stopped him. So, I mean, what's your only issue that you guys are pushing is banning stuff. And that's not going to work because what are you going to do when that guy gets that Remington 700 single or bolt action from Walmart and goes out there and starts busting people?
Yeah.
I mean, there's still going to be a lot of dead people there.
Or rents U-Haul and runs through a crowd at the next parade. I mean, it's just you're always going to have people doing crazy stuff. And I hate the people outside the U.S. like to look, quote our statistics, but when they quote them, they're not realizing most of the statistics these people are using are all uses of firearms. It's not just gun crime, and they're not gangland shootings, and you can take the statistics and twist it around to do whatever the hell you want with them. And it's
and that's what they do every time. And then they're not counting. They don't talk about London, the mayor of London, wanting people to turn their knives in and blunt the tips because there were so many stabbings.
Yeah.
They don't count that in places like the UK where your major home invasions are done during the middle of or done during the evenings when people are home.
He's cool. I like that snake.
Oh, it's the Eastern King, so he's a pretty snake. Which down there by you, Corn Pop, you probably got a lot of speckled kings like we had in Louisiana. And you've probably got some of these guys, but you probably got a lot of speckled kings too. And this guy's, I don't know, 4.5, maybe 5 foot.
So you just find them in your yard and kind of
Nah, most of these guys like that hog nose I've got and this guy pick up off the road. So I'll get them out of the road so they don't get hit, and every once in a while I'll hang on to them for a while. Because man, people they'll freaking run off the road to hit a snake. So
that's one thing that's always bothered me. People in my family growing up just being so quick to want to kill a snake. It's it's usually from the women in my family. It's no, I would just go and pick them up here with a shovel and then throw them somewhere else. No reason to kill a snake. If anything, especially if they're a poisonous snake, but if you're killing a king snake or something or a black racer, you're killing the snakes that eat the bad snakes.
Yeah. Well, if you're looking at a venomous snake and he's up in the yard, then that's a snake I'll take out. But if we're looking at a guy like this, he eats venomous snakes. I want all these around I can get. If he's around, even if he's getting some chicken eggs or something like that, then he's cool. Eat a chicken egg, but take care of my venomous snakes, and we got no issues.
Next time you have an asshole rooster, you should do snake versus rooster.
Yeah. But so far, he's been pretty decent. Matter of fact, he ended up nipping my daughter on the finger last night, and then he nipped me on the arm.
Oh
But other
no,
than that, he's been
seems pretty
really.
chill now.
Oh yeah, he's about as cool as you can get with a wild snake that I just caught 24 hours ago. Yeah, he's been good.
It almost looks like some sort of like pattern that you would like you taped off your AR because like his skin pattern combined with just the patches of color, like it looks like like
And, yeah, because believe it or not, if you take this guy, let me switch this around. Well, since no one can hear Trump, let me close him out and I'll open this back up.
Babu, no sir.
Yeah, if believe it or not, if you take this guy with just yellow and black and you sit him down in the woods, you just about can't see him, depending on where he's at. It just matches that well. So yeah,
snake I've ever seen. Like, you ever seen a indigo snake?
Yeah. Yep.
They're that really like dark, sheeny black, bluish kind of color. I saw one down at my dad's ranch, and they're gorgeous, huge.
Yeah, indigos are actually considered endangered because they're kind of dependent on the gopher tortoise for some of their habitat.
And those are endangered as well, yeah. So.
Yep. So they're kind of both on that same leg.
It's like the worst thing if you get you're about to sell your property and you get it surveyed and they find a freaking gopher tortoise.
Oh yeah.
Like, not advocating doing this, but if that happened, I think of course don't kill them, but maybe relocate them a little bit down the road very discreetly.
Yeah. I had a guy years ago. Hell, I was still doing nuisance wildlife at the time, so I was in my early 20s. Brought a gopher tortoise to me and was like, "Hey, look, I caught this turtle," and I was like, that's a $25,000 turtle, right?" "What do you mean?" It's like, "Yeah, just give that to me." I called some guys on the army base near me that handle all the wildlife. It was like, "Look, I'm not going to tell you how or who, but I have this turtle. I'm going to bring him out to y'all, and y'all can do with him what you will. No harm, no foul." And that's exactly what I did with him. What are you doing, boy?
Yeah, I've had a soft shell before, Dirk. No, their soft shell are delicious.
Oh yeah. Oh God.
You gotta be careful when you're handling them though, because like I always forget that is soft shell considered a type of snapper? Because I always get like corrected for calling them snapper turtles because they have that like long neck where they can reach out and grab you, and they kind of look like a snapper. They have that kind of like
Well, yeah, they've got a pretty good what we probably term as a beak to them.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they're not a snapping turtle. But typically we catch them a lot. Come on, boy. Typically we catch them a lot on trout lines or jugs. So when we catch them, when I pick the line up, of course their neck stretches out, and I'll grab him right behind the head and just cut his head off. And turtle meat is exceptional.
So good.
God, turtle meat's good. Yeah, just don't leave one in the driver's seat of the boat when your wife is trying to trail in the boat, because that leads to bad things. Trust me.
Do you guys have you guys have alligator snappers in Alabama, right?
Yeah. Man, me and my wife caught a big alligator snapping turtle a few years ago. Matter of fact, we caught him on a jug. We make our jugs out of probably about 14 inches of pool noodle, the foam pool noodle, and then we'll wrap that, take around, tape a line to them, put a hook on them, put reflector tape. We caught one that was big enough. At the time, I was over 220 pounds. I got this snapping turtle up on the bank, and I was trying to get the hook out of his face, and he walked down the bank with me sitting on his back like I wasn't even there. I mean, his shell was, I couldn't even get my arms around it.
I usually hear them before I come across it.
You're talking about a turtle that's probably well over 90 years old at that point. When you're talking about an alligator snapping turtle. common snapping turtles, I mean, it is what it is. They're normal everyday turtles, but alligator snapping turtles take a long time.
I don't know what kind of tortoise my neighbor had, but my old neighbor behind me, like, because my old house wasn't right on the water, it was one house from the water. The guy behind me was on the water. He had some big old tortoise, and like, it was just his pet. He was from Germany, and like apparently he had brought it. Like his dad was actually like in the SS and stuff, and he moved to America when he was like in his early 20s. He had this. It like seemed like once every year this damn tortoise would get, and the whole neighborhood would go looking for it. We always found it, but he was neat, man. Like having, that's one thing I see myself having someday. I've never been a huge reptile guy. Big tortoise.
Yeah, my wife, the farm she works at a lot on the weekends, they've got what, 2 tortoises?
Yeah.
Yeah, they got 2 big tortoises. And I mean, they're just cool. To me, reptiles are they're just cool. I mean, we're talking to a guy that's got a big ass king snake wrapped around his neck right now, trying to choke him out. So, not me killing or choking the snake trying to choke me at this point. So, yeah, reptiles, whether it's tortoises, iguanas, lizards.
That's certainly a change in pace for you. Instead of you choking your snake, the snake's choking you.
Yeah, well, this is true. Hey, I choke more chickens than I do snakes.
There you go, guys. Man, I just got an email from Primary Arms. I am in love with their new stuff.
What you get?
Tell us what you're looking, brother.
Yeah, tell us what you're looking at.
Hold on a second. It was I just got an email.
Yeah, dirt chickens are definitely where the dinosaurs went. Because if you watch them, people think chickens are these nice little cute animals. No, dude. Let a lizard get out in the yard and see what those jokers do.
Oh, they're horrible.
Oh man.
So, Primary Arms, they have a new scope that's coming out. It's their PLX, the Platinum line. It's the 1 to 8x24. And it's coming in a couple inches shorter than their previous one, in the older model. This one's coming in at like 8 inches as opposed to 10.
What is it? Is it a what power range is it?
1 to 8x24.
Oh, okay.
It's
I'm trying to find the one you're talking about on the site.
It's illuminated. God, that thing's beautiful. $1,500 though.
Primary Arms makes good stuff though, and like that's something that for like $50, it would probably, if it was a Night Force, that would be like a $3,500 scope.
Well, see, the thing, like, they're an hour away from where I live, so I've been to their place before, and I have some of their scopes and some of their optics, man. I love them. And
here,
yeah, it's
yeah, man, I've got to look more. I don't have anything Primary Arms right now. I've really got to start looking into it.
I mean, bang for your buck. I mean, if you want some good optics or a good scope, bang for your buck, man. That's where you got to look. They also have a new mini reflex sight coming out too that they're doing with in conjunction with what the hell's that company?
Mommy,
Careful, boy. Give me. Noise.
Hollow Sun. Yeah, that's the name of it. Hollow Sun.
Yeah, Hollow Sun is some of the best like China-made optics. I mean, even for American-made stuff, I love Hollow Sun.
Oh, shoot, man, it's
yeah, man. A lot of guys that I follow are big firearms guys, trainers and stuff. As much as they hate getting stuff from China, none of them can argue with a Hollow Sun sight.
Well, the thing is, it's like you can't. Yeah, but you can't. like where else are you going to go to get? You're not going to get an American-made one. Not here in America.
Not with all
They
the
don't have
features.
manufacturing. We don't have manufacturing to do that.
No, well, a lot of your so-called American scopes and stuff are made with glass and everything's coming from overseas somewhere.
It's assembled here, yeah.
Yeah, you're just assembled here.
Yeah.
So you got everybody else producing your stuff, and you might have an operation to screw the glass on and nitrogen fill it, but all your components and everything are done somewhere else.
Right. Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think even like some of the other big name optics, like your high end optics, like what's
Yeah, Dirt McGirt's right. Yeah, American made, foreign parts. It's basically American assembled.
But the thing is, they're all made to spec though. Like if they don't pass inspection, they don't pass spec, they don't get made. You know, I mean, just because it's made in China doesn't mean it's.
No. I mean, these other countries, China, a lot of other countries can produce some really good components. You know, there's no arguing with that, and it's the fact that it costs so much more to make everything here within the United States.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. Why does it cost so much cheaper to run stuff from another country, put it on a ship, run it over here, put it on trucks, do everything else, and it's still cheaper than making it right here
because their employees make like $2 an hour, if that.
Oh, yeah. Some of those guys are lucky if they're making 50 cents a day.
Yeah, and so there's that. You can't compete. I mean, you can't compete with China on physical
labor. No, you can't. And I mean, not to mention the fact that they basically have a slave caste over there named the Uyghurs that they just work to death. I mean, that's your iPhone. That's this.
I mean, God, those two optics right there, or that one scope and that one optic.
Man, I've never heard of Dirt McGirt was mentioning Whiskey 6. I've never heard of them.
Whiskey 6.
I got an old Simmons scope where like my aunt bought me this for like my 12 or 13 year birthday, and like I've not been able to kill this thing. It's just an old Simmons 4.5 to 14, and like so this thing was like on a pellet gun, then a 22, and it's been on all the way up to like some 308s I've had. It's even been on a Scar 17H, which is a notorious optic killer, and I'm not shaking the reticle loose. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's just a standard cross reticle. No,
Simmons makes a good scope. The only issue with Simmons sometimes is the clarity of their glass.
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll have decent eye relief, they'll have decent magnification, but the clarity of their glass is where it hurts them.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of Simmons scopes, and they've been great. Like I said, I've beat the hell out of them, and they still keep coming back for more. It's just the clarity of their glass.
Mm-hmm.
If I look at the last Simmons scopes I had on my 30-aught versus the what I got on it now? Was it the Nikon? The scope I got on my 30-aught, was it a Nikon you got me? Yeah, but I think Nikon's the manufacturer. It's Buckmaster or something. I think it's made by Nikon. But the glass is so much clearer on that scope, it's just crazy.
What?
It's a Buckmark or Buckmaster scope that I've got on my 30-aught now. I had a Simmons, a comparable Simmons on there before I put that Nikon on there. My wife got it for me. And looking at a deer at 300 yards through the Simmons, it was fuzzy. It wasn't clear. Looking at it through that Nikon, yeah, man, I can see the shoulder pocket on that deer. And everything's real clear. So
I was on Twitter earlier today, and this guy tweeted that you can't kill a deer beyond 50 yards with a 5.56 round. I'm like,
dude, you're full of shit.
You want to bet me?
Yeah.
You want to bet, bro?
Now, would I literally go out right now and hunt deer with a 5.56 round on purpose? No.
No, but you can do it. Like it's about.
Yeah.
I mean, if you place a shot inside the chest cavity with the lungs at, you blow them up, dude.
It's
Yeah.
got a good deer, yeah, light, fast round. You know,
Well,
I don't know if I prefer a light round over like I think I would prefer like a 55 grain over like a 77 or something, even if I had to take a deer with a 5.56. I don't know.
I think the last time I shot a deer with a 5.56 round, I think it was a 62 grain 5.56 round. I want to say it's 20, but I'm not sure. It's been a long time.
Yeah, that's the box.
I've upgraded to 6.5 Grendel since then, so I don't give a shit.
Dude,
I don't have a Grendel yet. I want to get a Grendel. Like,
oh man, it's wonderful. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh,
man, I hunted a few years with a 243, and the only issue I had with it is it doesn't have enough ass behind it for like a quartering shot. So if the deer's kind of facing away, but you've still got that heart lung on them, it won't punch through. So
really? At what yards? At what yards?
God, that last one I shot, it was an 8-point, and he probably wasn't 40 yards from me.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
On a quarter away with that 243, it went in perfect. But it leaves a very little engine hole, and it blew his heart off the shoulder, so you got no blood to follow.
I mean, you can knock down a deer at 50 yards with a 44 mag. Easy flat.
Oh yeah, well then you're talking about a 243, and I had one deer. Matter of fact, I had one of my buddies was hunting probably about 75 yards from me. My wife was probably 60 yards from him. We were spread out across an area. And my buddy texted me that morning and said, "Hey, a bunch of does just passed me and I couldn't get a shot." When they walked out on me with that 243, I dropped the first one. Hard shot, pow, dropped her. Well, the other deer ran probably about 10 yards and stopped. So second one, pow, heart lung shot, knocked her right on her butt. She got up and walked away. And my buddy said when they come by him, they were in a bunch of thick cover and he couldn't really get a clean shot. So he didn't take it, but said all three of those deer walked past him like nothing happened. Wow. There were 4 deer in the original group that came by. There were 3 deer that came back by him. And even the one that was shot walked through like nothing happened. It was in the area we were in. That was the only group of deer that could have come back by him without one of us seeing them. And that's when I took that 243 and I put that joker down and I went and got my 30-aught back because that 30-aught on a quartering shot, I know it's going to knock right through.
Yeah, that's my old man used to hunt with 30-06, man. He swore by it.
Oh man, dude, my father-in-law loaded me up some 168 grain ballistic tips for that 30-aught. And they are devastating. If you hit that deer pretty much heart lung, or you just hit kind of a heart shot, it's going to blow his chest cavity to pieces.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hey, I want to share. Let me share a screen with you real fast.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is what I was talking about earlier with the Primary Arms Hollow Sun. They're 18509 ACSS reticle. I want it. I want it bad.
Oh yeah, man, that's a good looking optic.
Oh hell yeah, that's sweet.
And yeah, that's what it looks like. It looks like it's on a. Looks like it's mounted on a. Looks like
boxy ones, but they make it so you can see it. I was kind of skeptical at first about the big boxy ones, but after looking through one, particularly in the daylight, the extra like shade makes it like you have so much more clarity and being able to like
not only you got a bigger, you also have a bigger eye box as well on there. Yep. You can see more. This is and it's a fully closed emitter.
Yeah.
So it's protected against moisture, mud, and hazards. This is their enhanced version. I like it. I like how it has that reticle on there. That shell. Yeah. Because I have astigmatism, so like dots blow up on me. Dots don't look like dots to me. They look like fucking squiggly things.
What does it look like to your eye? Do you get kind of like that blossoming look where like the circle won't be a perfect circle? It'll kind of like blossom out the side.
Yeah, it'll blow out. Yeah,
that's what it does for me too.
But you have astigmatism.
Yep.
So from what I've heard, I don't know this for certain, but from what I've heard, that Chevron does not have that effect.
I heard prisms were really good for people with our condition, like supposedly fix that. I haven't tried one yet, but everybody's telling me to check one out. Like, because I was like, why would you get a 1x magnified optic? I never got that, but apparently that's what they're really good for. Is people?
Yeah, well, I have a 3-time on one of my ARs. I have a 3-time magnified. It's a fixed magnification of 3 times, but it's etched on the glass from primary arms, and it's got a little. That one had the dot. That one got the dot on it, but yeah, it doesn't blow out or anything.
Well, see, that's one of the serious things. Getting any kind of optic like that, I either want it etched, or like when my irons flip up, I want my irons co-witnessing. Because let's face it, any kind of optic sight, if it's battery powered, it's going to shit the bed at some point. And with my luck, it's going to be at the worst possible time.
Yeah.
So I want stuff to be able to keep working with that sight.
I see.
And
let me share this one with you too. Real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, good.
Share screen.
See, the worst thing with me right now is my right eye is actually getting weak, and I'm right eye dominant, so my left eye is trying to take over.
Yeah.
So I'm having to really deal with that at this point.
So this right here is Primary Arms. It's their PLX line. It's P stands for platinum. They got standard, gold, and platinum. This platinum is their highest line.
So that's a LPVO. That's a low power.
It's a LPVO 1 to 8 power by 24. Their older version was 10.5 inches, and this one comes in at 9.3 inches, and just under 17 ounces as opposed to 27. So they were able to shave freaking like 10 ounces off the weight. And they knocked about over an inch off. Yeah.
Dirt said he needs to park his tractor and stop texting, basically. Nah, Dirt, just keep on texting, man. You'll be all right.
Yeah. But those are reticles. Those are the reticles that you have with it that they're coming out with.
Hey, there's Ron Wayne. What's up, Ron? Yeah, dude, I like those reticles. I really, really do.
Mm-hmm. Well, the Chevron is that's the reticle. The guy Dimitri who makes these reticles and shit, these scopes, he's the one that he made the reticle for the ones that we have in the military. What do you call them? The
ACOG.
The ACOG, yeah, the ACOG reticle. That's it. That guy is the one who made it. Dimitri.
That's the Chevron, right? That's what they call that.
Yeah, it's a Chevron. And so basically,
yeah, well, I mean that's your bullet drop compensator, right? So,
it's got that too, yeah. And
you're like Kentucky windage too, because like that's the beauty of having that triangle is you can lead things with it.
Yeah.
Well, you got that, but see, the thing is, he's got let's see if I can. But you have to the left and right of that Chevron, if you see those those kind of big hash marks right there, those are for if someone's running or walking. So you can kind of gauge it. And if you shoot, say if they're running, then you put that hash. If they hit that hash, you shoot, and by the time if they're running, they keep running in the same direction. By the time they get to the middle of that reticle, you're going to hit them. But it's only accurate, I think, up to 100 yards or a couple hundred yards, 200 or 300 yards. I have to get my book out and look at it again.
Yeah, well, that part of that's going to be based on what round you're shooting and all that, and as long as you match it up to the scope.
And the thing is, it's like all his reticles and stuff. You can also estimate very, very pretty accurately range and stuff by using the chevron and the hash marks going down.
Yeah, well, that's like people don't realize about like the Dragunov scope, the regular Russian scope that came on the Dragunov.
Has that weird
all the scale and stuff you have on the side of that. If you matched up a target with hash marks on that scale, it basically gave you the average yardage or meter, that target was at. And then if you knew how to use the scope, then it was just a real simple adjustment. And then of course account for the wind and other conditions, and pow.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's got all that stuff on those scopes of his. It gives you a good estimation of range, friggin' windage, elevation, all that good stuff, man.
Yeah.
So Bull Rush, as someone with a military background, you being a Marine and all, what do you think about this new SIG rifle, this new SIG Spear? Have you seen that?
Do what? I haven't even heard of it. What are you talking about?
The Army's new rifle, they're getting, what was it, Coop? Like 120,000 you're ordered?
Well, I think it's the 277 Fury or the 6.8. It's and SIG won the contract for it. It's the bimetal casing, so the upper part of your casing is still brass, but basically the base of your casing is steel. So they're supposed to be able to push like 80,000 PSI out of that case or something. It's freaking crazy.
And as reference, like a 5.56 is 62,000 PSI, and the hottest 5.6.
What's the name of this cartridge?
Look up. Hold on. Yeah, look up 277 Fury.
Essentially, a neck down 308, but it's not neck down as a 6.5 Grendel.
The projectile, from what I understand, the projectile itself is basically the same projectile as a 243. They're just pushing more powder behind it. So
243s would be 6 millimeter, I think. I could be wrong, but
this is 6.8 by 51 millimeters, so it's close to like a 6.8 special.
It's as close to the 6.8 SPC.
Yeah, it's weird. We're going back to the AR-10 platform. We went from the M14 to realize that, you had to have extremely well-trained people to handle it on full auto, and you had a limited loadout. Then they went to the 5.56 and realized all the benefits of that for fire superiority, particularly on full auto. And now we're going back to this platform that, when you watch that, there's that one guy, Task and Purpose. He's an ex-Army guy, and he's one of the few people at first that got to shoot it. And when you watch, he's a smaller stature fellow, but when you watch him shoot it, it's pushing him back. The SIG rep goes and puts his hand on his back so it doesn't fall over backwards when he's on full auto. But when you watch some more skilled people, there's a Grand Thumb video running at full auto, and there's just now today came out a in-range video with Carl Casada shooting it. And when you watch them shoot it, it seems good, but maybe Marines, because the Marines, every man's a rifleman. If they had it, they would implement the training better. But I can't see, I'm a civilian, but this is just my 2 cents. But I can't see from the Army guys I know that weren't necessarily gun people, but now they're supposed to be able to handle that thing with full auto. I don't see them getting it done with it, And plus, they got less of a loadout.
Well, I mean, you don't want to run. I mean, look, that's why we have a machine gun guy. Inside the squad.
Yeah.
You rarely ever run full auto on your rifle, man. It's 3-round burst is enough.
Well, that's everybody figures that, and people that don't fire a lot figure that full auto, that's so much more military. It's not.
Well, you have to fight the muzzle rise though. The muzzle rise on the rifle.
Full auto is a situation, and I've never
been a waste of rounds, man.
Yeah, I've never been military. I grew up around the military pretty much my whole life. I deal with vets in my normal career every day. Okay, full auto is just getting someone to put their head down for the rest of the maneuver. That's good for, because obviously no one wants to shot in the face. That's just the way it works. So if I can put more metal in the air than they're putting in the air, I'm going to make them put their heads down, and then that's why when you look at actual warfare from Vietnam to Iraq, Afghanistan,
that's right, Dirk. fucking be a saw gunner. That's what I was. I was a saw gunner. Shit.
When you look at the amount of rounds sent out versus the amount of actual recorded hits, it's insanely low.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that is it's covering fire. It's okay, we're going to make those people put their heads down, and then the rest of these guys can maneuver, and then they can engage them. And typically they're going to engage them in semi-automatic because that's where more of your control comes from.
I mean, I'm surprised, man. I thought 6mm arc was still in the running for the.
No, this.
Yeah, Navy SEAL, dude. I'm right on. I agree with you, Bull Rush. Like, if there was going to be a new round, that 6 arc looked like the cat's ass because you'd only have the barrel and the bolt.
It's basically an improved, more aerodynamic 6.5 Grendel.
If you look up Tactical Rifleman, he did a show. Oh God, it's probably been 8 months ago. The original guy who was pushing the 6.8. Well, he was in the development of the whole thing. They went through 6mm, 6 point this,
6.8 SPC.
No. The 6.8 that they're going with now. The 277 Fury.
Okay.
This guy was one of the original ones who got that in the pipeline, and he explained all of it in this Tactical Rifleman video. I mean, and they were just having to sit down. I mean, just these guys served together. They were just going through all the stuff that, just general BS. And when he explained that round and explained the performance they were getting out of it, you can see why that the military wanted this round. Now, I think they're going overboard. I think you still want a lot of people carrying something like a 5.56, although I don't like 5.56. I think you want a lot of people carrying 5.56, and then you want to branch it out to where more people are carrying that 6.8. And therefore you get the amount of people who can throw a lot of rounds on target, keep people's heads down, and then you let the people with the 6.8 go to work. And you can
how much more power they should have got out of 5.56 if they would have done that stainless steel head with brass case technology. If they would have applied that to 5.56, like we have that, like the Navy SEALs, and I think like Force Recon and other like high tier guys use that M855A1, and I've heard that's a badass round. I've never used it because it's so damn expensive, but the other thing I've heard about it is that it breaks bolts at about 10,000 rounds, and it eats up feed ramps because it has that steel penetrator, like right on the tip. It's not like a normal M855 where it's like the steel penetrator inside.
Am I reading this right? They say that new 277 caliber, 135 to 140 grain round is traveling at more than 3,100 feet per second.
Yep.
Fucking hell, dude.
Because supposedly the new thing about it, man, is they want to be able to penetrate like the next gen or like the current. Like the Russians are using level 4 body armor, and the new M55A1 can only penetrate like 3A.
Yeah, what kind of sorcery did they use for this, man? Because that's a heavy round to be pushing that fast, man.
Well, yeah, but
it's not like a 14-inch barrel too, brother.
Yeah, and you're looking at a bimetal case, and that's the reason they went to the bimetal case, so they could push that much more pressure.
Okay.
So, like a normal brass case, you would get case head separation at a much lower pressure. I mean, it would just slim the back end of the case off.
I just wonder with that much increase in pressure, how that's going to have an effect on barrels and stuff.
That's what a lot of people have been saying, man, about burning barrels out in like 10,000 rounds. That's been a lot of people are talking about that,
But see, like your saw is going to be, your saw is an air cooled gun. It's an air cooled firearm. It's not like when they start wrapping bags of water around it now or something.
Well, you got to look at your average combat loadouts. What, 200 and something rounds?
I don't know I thought it was 300. What did you carry when you were in Borush? What was your loadout typically?
As much as I fucking could.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew guys that were in the initial invasion of Iraq and stuff, and they had not only their M4s. Well, one of my buddies was carrying assault at the time, but he not only had assault, an M4 backup, and then had an AK sitting to the side with every mag he could collect. Is that, oh shit, it's getting real gun.
Yeah.
But your average combat loadout for a soldier is not over, 300 something rounds.
Yeah.
So your average engagement, I mean, replacing barrels, let's be honest, replacing barrels ain't all that hard. You can go back to an armor, get a new barrel and everything done out in no time. So
I was surprised that new machine gun didn't have a quick swap barrel, but they say they think they're going to change that just because it wasn't in the requirements. But one thing I got to say, that new M250, that is an impressive piece of machinery. The 249 saw, I think, weighed 19.5 pounds, and this gun that replacing it, firing a more powerful cartridge, weighs 12.5 pounds.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
and it seems to have a really nice recoil impulse. It has a perfect rate of fire. It's like 650 rounds per minute, so it's not too fast. And it just, you watch videos of TFB TV, that guy that wears the little shorts all the time. Can't think of his name.
Yeah, this is the first I'm hearing about this. About this.
Believe it or not, I mean, there's been a lot of guys doing videos on this stuff for about the last 3 years.
There's one for sale on Gunbroker right now for $27,000.
Oh God!
I don't know, man. Maybe I was too wrapped up with 6mm arc. And
one of the last guys I saw do a video was Fieldcraft. He did a video on.
Don't this is around the Army's going with.
What was that?
This is the actual round that the Army 100% is going to adopt, or is it just something in the running?
This is where it's going.
It was like a DMR, for a couple guys, but I can't see mass conscription, or mass, it's everybody. It doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to take billions of dollars to do this, but. Matter of fact, CRS did a couple videos on it not too long back, and I'd have to go back to them and look. But the Army's ordered so many of them, and this looks like where they're going to go with this point. Now, if something changes in the meantime, you guys know the government. They are not the most reliable things on this planet.
Mm-mm.
I'm surprised it actually went through, because how many times have we had this OCIW program back in the early 90s? Then we had the SCAR program, and they picked up a lot of rifles. I think they bought 60,000 or something. I could be wrong. It's somewhere in that range, maybe more, between the SCAR Light, the SCAR Heavy, and they mainly stuck with the SCAR Heavy. But it's we'll see what happens. But one good move they definitely made was putting a can on every rifle. I think that's invaluable for communication between people and your squad, and just not blowing your ears out when you're clearing a room.
Yeah, well, just shutting down your signature if you're in a firing position. That's what that can is there for. Just basically deleting that signature, so you don't have a fireball pointing to me. Hey, I'm here. That's incredibly invaluable to a military force. So, and then what's up, Tactical Pineapple in this case? Give me just a sec. I'll be right back.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they're pushing 80,000 psi of pressure out of that barrel, I don't know how much good a can's going to do.
Well, it's a high flow can too to minimize back pressure, because all the videos I've seen of even running full auto, they aren't getting gassed out you see with a lot of internal piston ARs. And
take a pee.
So. That's my other question. Are they going to do a gas impingement rifle to go with this round, or are they going to do a?
No, it's piston. It's short stroke piston.
I can't get this.
You're going to have to, man. You're going to have to. I think that's really interesting. Yeah, very interesting. I still like my Grendel.
All I know is if you shoot it without a can, that little muzzle device they have, I think it's meant to be run with just a can, because that little muzzle device without a can seems like it ain't going to do shit. for.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not gonna do anything. I don't think. Just looking at it,
As
that's a
far
lot
as
of
fuse and
pressure.
flash and
That's a lot of pressure, bro.
yeah, I bet it's loud without that 14-inch barrel. Without that can, that thing's probably a ringer, no ringer.
I'd like to shoot it out of at least. I bet you that round does wonders out of a 16-inch barrel, though.
Oh yeah, I bet if they're getting like 3,000 at least out of a 14, like I'm curious what they're getting out of a 16 or an 18. Like they got to use some real fast burning powders, but I wonder if it's but you'll get another 200 or 300 if you add another 4 inches or so.
Probably do. Like, what kind of twist rate do you think would be good for that? Like a 1.
I think it's 1 in 7. I'm pretty
1
sure it's
7?
1 in 7, which is pretty fast for a heavy round like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm back. Well, we're talking about 1 in 7s.
Yeah, I think that's the twist rate on the new 277 Pure. I could be wrong, but
that's coming out of a 14-inch barrel, though, right?
Yeah, well, it could be because basically the shorter your barrel, the heavier you want the projectile, and the faster you want the twist rate.
Okay.
That's like the 10.5-inch AR that I've got. That's and the 12.5-inch AK that I've got. Both those are 1 in 7 twists.
It's rather overspin something than underspin it. Yes, there are technically like you can get some inaccuracies by overspinning around, but then the effects are negligible compared to if you don't have enough spin, then the round will be stabilized.
Yeah,
it's kind of like throwing a football.
Yeah, you don't have enough spin. It's going to be like one of those passes you see in the NFL that's just wobbling. It's so if I'm shooting a 16-inch barrel and I've got a 1 in 10 twist or something like that, or whatever the slower twist rates are, that's fine with a 55 grain projectile. I'll get plenty of spin on it because it's got plenty of time to ramp up. Out of a shorter barrel, I want a really tight twist rate, and I want to be slinging a heavier projectile because that's
like these this round is like 135 to 140 grain.
Yeah, it's like I said. Well, it's what I'm saying. It's really close to. I think when you look it up, I think it's really close to a 243 round. Is what they base some of this off of. So it's a pretty. You stick it out of a 1 in 7 twist out of a 14-inch barrel, and especially with the pressures they're pushing, that's going to be a smoking round.
It's a spicy girl, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, dude.
Yeah, Tactical said secret to 12-inch barrel, and 545 is a 1 in 7.5 twist. Yeah.
What's 350 Legend, Dirt? Is that a 308 neck down to or necked up to a 35 caliber, or what is that?
A buddy of mine owns an AR and a 350 Legend, and I really haven't looked too much into that cartridge.
I know I saw what was a pretty neat thing. They make it's an AR-10 platform, but they make a 4570 like auto now, where instead of a rim case, it's a rimless case, and that looked pretty neat.
That's smoking. Yeah. 570.
I figured you like that bull rush, considering your old name.
Bro, that's a 4570. That's a damn bear killer.
Yeah,
that's a big boy round.
Yeah, 350 Legend is a straight wall cartridge. I know that much about it.
It's a straight wall cartridge developed by Winchester.
Well, wasn't it developed because some states have some stupid law that you can only hunt with straight walled cartridges? I heard that's why.
Some of them you can only hunt with a cartridge that's over a certain diameter, so it's got to be 30 cal or better. Mac from Military Arms Channel, and I can't remember the whole video. He had a video about it probably about a year ago on a 350 Legend. So if you wanted to learn a little bit more about the 350 Legend, he had a video on it that was pretty in depth. It was a good video.
Yeah, I like Mac. He does good videos.
Yeah, Mac. I mean, there's always drama on anything with YouTube, and you hear people talking smack, but dude does some good videos. So, I mean, if you've got issues with somebody, I mean, freaking deal with it. As long as the majority of their content is solid content, well, swallow something, big boy, because you may not agree with everything. And
Not gonna cry about it.
Yeah. That's the reason that I will not get involved in a lot of the drama that I see on YouTube. Well, this person's this and this person's that. Now, if I know someone's absolutely messing people over, then yeah, I'm going to say something about it more than likely, because I don't like that kind of thing.
F you, Coop. Fight me in the streets, bro.
It's a reason, when I started this channel in January this year, not too long after I got on that Christmas stream with Dark and Crunk, I wanted to start this channel. I want it to be me. I want it to be 100% authentic. So you guys might get the video where I'm holding my son and he's crying, but that's my life. I'm a dad. You might get the one with the snake hanging around my neck. That's my life. It's going to be real.
Coop's a lie. Coop is strictly CGI. Everything.
Yeah, well, this is true. And
Coop's a deep fake.
Might as well be a Shrek cartoon. I'm serious, because I'm really not this ugly. I look like Brad Pitt.
You probably look like Bart Simpson in real life.
Yeah, probably so.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a fake too. I'm really 19-year-old girl from Berkeley that identifies as a man.
Jesus Christ.
Well, these days you can be. That's not a hard stretch, man. Come on.
Coop, you know damn well that the only reason you made up your channel is to share the pain.
Oh yeah, dude. I gotta share it with some damn buddy.
You're a fucking masochist.
I spend way too much time watching C-SPAN and congressional hearings not to share it with somebody.
It is eye-opening, though. It's eye-opening to see how little or how uneducated a lot of these lawmakers are.
Dude, when you watch these guys,
they're like totally disconnected.
Yeah. They're the ones who make our laws, right? But they're surrounded by personal security. These people normally don't drive. If you watch video of Eleanor Holmes Norton just trying to park her car, it is hysterical, because she runs into the other car like 3 times.
Well, to be fair, she is a woman, so.
Well, yeah, there is some issues, but still, I mean, they get driven everywhere. They've got private security. They've got retirement for the rest of their life just for serving a single term. They're so disconnected from the rest of us. We go out to the store. We could get robbed. We could get shot. My dad got robbed at gunpoint just going to the store before he went to work one morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, and had a guy pull a gun on him and rob him. They don't know that kind of thing. Yeah. But they're making laws that govern every aspect of our life. And I'm not down with that, especially since, actually looking into it and actually doing research on it and actually looking at the effects of a lot of this stuff. I'm sorry, there's a lot of this stuff that just shouldn't exist.
At least know what the hell you're talking about the things you're claiming to ban. These people come out to ban stuff and they can't remember where they're calling it an AR-14 or mixing up AK. They don't even know what the hell they're talking about. No. Yet they speak like they know so much about it and about how deadly these things are. And you're like these high-powered, extremely dangerous weapons of war, and yet they're fine with on a bolt action 30-06 or and they have no idea how much more powerful that is.
That's a perfect example. Okay, and when you listen to them, they talk about velocity. Well, this round's traveling at this velocity. One, they don't understand what velocity is. They absolutely don't. And they don't understand what makes a round more or less lethal. If these jokers ever looked at video of what a ballistic tip would do to something versus a standard full metal jacket, they would absolutely lose their minds. Because I will guarantee you, those 168s I'm shooting out of that 30-06 will leave an entrance hole about the size of a pencil, but their exit hole is about the size of a softball. And everything in between those 2 points is absolutely destroyed.
It's obliterated. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's freaking toast. So they get hooked. Everything they do is focus group tested. I will guarantee you, they sit people down in a room and they have people vote on the terms that they use. That's the reason that global warming became climate change. That's
sounds the scariest.
Yeah. That's the reason that gun control became common sense gun safety. That's the reason you're hearing the stuff about MAGA Republicans right now. Everything is focus tested just to get the sheep in order, and then they can do what they want.
You know, it's like a new common sense.
Like you said in your video, what was it, yesterday or the day before, Coop? Like you said it really well when you said like it's all about imagery to them. Like what imagery can they put out? You know, they'll stand on the graves of these kids, you know, to pass their legislation. You know, and they just want to
I don't care for.
You know, paint this picture of how horrible everything is, and it's just I can't stand it, man.
Yeah, it's what drives me crazy about some of this. You know, Nancy Pelosi says it all the time. Perception is reality. And what people's perception are is shaped by what they hear every single day. So if you have the media and mainstream entertainment pushing a certain point of view, people buy into it. And that's what shapes their reality. My reality is way different than theirs because I deal with people in real time all the time. Whether it's you guys, whether it's Santee, Johnny Snow, you know, guys shows that I've been on, we deal with people a lot different than the person who's just watching mainstream TV and mainstream news.
Well, that's the thing though too. Like the other thing gets me is their hubris in thinking that like other people don't live a different lifestyle to what they live. You know, it's like you try to explain to some of these people. It's like, you know, if you're out in a rural area, you know, you have to call the police. You know, that response time is going to be at least 30 minutes, 45 minutes.
Dude, where I'm at right now,
and the vast majority of the population in this country live in rural areas.
If I call the cops, they're not getting here in 30 seconds. Your average gunfight, your average confrontation only lasts just a couple of seconds. There's no way they're going to get here before something like that has happened.
Yep. And in Warren versus the District of Columbia, the Supreme Court ruled that law enforcement has no legal right. Like,
there's like two. There's like two Supreme Court rulings about that.
No, I don't know what the other one's name is, but yeah, one's Warren versus what's the other one? Yeah, you're right.
Obligated to do that.
Yeah. They have no duty to defend you. In other words, a cop could stand there, watch you get murdered, and then they could arrest the guy, and there was no duty to defend you. They have a duty to actually arrest the person that committed the crime. They have no duty to defend you against that person. So, yeah, someone could break into my house and I can call the cops, and the cops could tell me, hey, when everything's said and done, we'll come arrest the guy. We have no real duty to come defend you against that person. And that's just the way it would be. And it's, you know, I got to do a video about it. There's a podcast I listened to. Let me pull it up on my phone real quick. Because if you guys remember Tony Simon, who's been on a lot of stuff, he's been on this podcast before. Let me get the name of it real quick. That way I get it right. What in the hell? It's a self-defense gun storage podcast.
Okay.
Now my phone wants to play a damn commercial. But if you look up Self-Defense Gun Stories podcast on either YouTube or I pull mine up on iHeartRadio, you'll see stories about, because they do a couple a month, about all the times where people have defended themselves. Come on, phone, cooperate. All the times where people have defended themselves with a firearm that never really get reported on. There have been a couple, the last couple, they're up to like 270 something as far as the number of the podcast. But one of the last ones that I listened to was a woman who defended herself against an abusive boyfriend. And they want to talk about this boyfriend loophole and all this other crap and banning firearms. Well, this guy went to abuse his girlfriend. She shot his ass in the neck. He ended up surviving, but she stopped the threat. If you disarmed her, guess where she'd be? In a morgue. So with all this gun control stuff, don't create more victims trying to solve this issue, because that's what's going to happen with a lot of these regulations and laws that they want to pass right now.
Yeah, it's just kind of ridiculous.
Donna, if you're still here, we accept everybody, and I promise the cops won't show up at your door. At least not any cops around here.
Yeah, I just don't know where. Like, I mean, I can understand people live in the city. It's like, because there's a lot more law enforcement out there.
Well, even in the city,
but still, it's like.
And that's something I argue with some people. Even in the city, where you do have a huge law enforcement presence, okay, they're more than likely going to be tied up with another situation when you make the call to report your situation, because there's just that much going on.
Well, it's like the saying, it's like 1 second's count, police are minutes away.
Absolutely.
That's best case scenario too.
Well, if you look at this last school shooting, we touched on it some. This guy was apparently out in front of the school shooting for 12 minutes. Now, 12 minutes doesn't seem like a long time.
That's a long time.
Unless you boil that down to that situation. 12 minutes is an extreme amount of time.
I just smoked 2 cigarettes.
Who knows if this is a rumor, but I heard something about a father. I don't know if it was like a father of one of the kids or if it was just a father that was, nearby the area or something, but he ran to his car to retrieve his pistol to go run in there because the cops weren't going in there, and then they basically stopped him from doing that. I don't know if that's true or not, but I think it was something I heard.
I think it was one of the dads, because I heard the same thing. They had him in cuffs on the side, and they stopped a bunch of parents, because there were quite a few parents that I know of that wanted to go in. And these officers, there were a group of officers who wanted to go in right away. Their supervisor stopped them because they were ready to get with it.
That supervisor needs to be fired, because there's no excuse for that.
No, there's no excuse whatsoever for that. But anyway, they got stopped. And then when these parents wanted to go in, these other officers stopped the parents from going in. And then you end up with something like 45 minutes to an hour where this guy is able to go around in that classroom doing whatever he wants.
Kill Boda.
And it's just crazy. What's up, Bacon?
I killed Boda Dozer. That's awesome. I want one.
Yeah, ADX. Yeah, I think they did. And they ended up, I don't know whether they tased the dude, but they were threatening to tase him. And got him off to the side, got him kind of handcuffed or whatever, and out of the way. But yeah, he was trying to go in.
I don't know, if I was a father and I had like my truck in the parking lot with my plate carrier, my AR, like I'd be like, I think I'd want to be like, shoot me, motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Like, my kids. If there's still, especially if there was still shooting going on afterwards, then I'd want to shoot somebody else, knowing that like I could have stopped something and a lot more people are dead now, or maybe my own kid's dead.
Man, I told my wife, it'd be a situation where there might be a firefight before I went in that building, but no one's stopping me. If you want to jump on that train, ride it. Because if my kid's in that building, there's nothing stopping me from going in that building.
And I'm sure those good cops felt horrible. Like obviously, they wanted to do it, but they're told they can't. It's my stepdad. He was a captain in the sheriff's department down here. Now he's not in this town anymore. He's up north Florida. But he always told me because I went to a private school for my last year and a half. I was a troublemaker. I ended up graduating from a public school, and he was telling me we told our officers, we talked with the sheriff, and if any shit ever goes down, we're not going to do how they did at Columbine, where our asses are going running up in there, blazing.
Yeah, he said that guy lost his daughter. Dude, if I'm that guy and I lost my daughter and those cops stopped me from going in, brother, there's going to be some issues behind that.
Yeah.
Whether those issues just turn up into some court or whether they turn into people just getting beat down, yeah, there's going to be some issues.
Completely understandable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's your child in there. And again, we get back to this same deal where this isn't a binary choice where you can have your guns and have dead kids, or you can have no guns and no dead kids. There's no binary choice here. We can protect our children in these schools and still have the arms that we want to have. These politicians just refuse to do it because they want to take away the firearms, and that's what it comes down to for them.
I just can't stand that the weapons keep on being brought up. When there's a DUI and some manslaughter case, guy goes out and kills everybody, people be like, oh, those damn F-150s, we need to get them off the streets. They're killing people, or whatever kind of car it was that killed somebody. Or when that one black dude drove through, I shouldn't even point out race. When the one crazy drove through that parade, it's they weren't. I think it was a Ford Explorer, but you didn't hear people we need to get Ford Explorers off the streets. You see how many people it killed, Yeah,
it was a Ford, some sort of Ford SUV, some sport, what the hell ever. And yeah, you're right. You didn't see anybody standing up going, we need to get rid of these SUVs. And it's simply because if you apply the same logic that the left applies to firearms, if you apply that same logic to any other object, then people would tell you you're absolutely crazy. But we've gone through the cycle for so long of them applying that knowledge or applying that logic to firearms, people buy into it. And I'm sorry, just the government doesn't get to tell me what I can own and what I can't own. They already do that enough in every aspect of my life.
How close is Uvalde, or how do you say it, to where you are, Bull Rush? I know you're kind of more near the coast, but where is this?
Oh, it's far away. It's like a 3.5 hour drive.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a ways off.
I hate how when you click on any of these mainstream news channels, they want you to sign. Some of them you can't even read the articles without signing up. I instantly just leave, but it seems like every other one is that way now.
Well, that's because they're hurting for subscribers so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody used to get the newspaper, and when the internet started, everybody used to subscribe to their services. But now there's so many other outlets that they're just dying off. And as far as I'm concerned, they can all die off.
Uvalde's 5 hours west of me, dude. Yeah. Way out there.
Well, it's funny. CNN they created thinking oh yeah, since everybody's on the internet, we'll create our own internet division or whatever, and they spent it was $20 million or something like that, and they shut it down because it ended up they got a couple hundred subscribers. It's funny, these tiny little YouTubers would have more viewers than freaking CNN had.
Bull Rush, you see Tactical Pineapple's last chat?
His last one?
He's looking for a bladesmith. I think he's referring to you, Bull Rush.
We know the bladesmith
You may know somebody.
project is pretty simple, but could benefit business. Reach out.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. They Tim Pool. If you look at the amount of views he gets versus the amount of views CNN gets, it's unreal. Tim Pool is beating them down like it's not even. I mean, it's not even close. But they're just more and more people, and hope to God more and more people catch on to it that are just sick of the mainstream narrative. Because you can turn on the news in the morning and you know exactly which narrative, which talking points they're going to use for that day. And you can watch C-SPAN and you can watch what Democrats talk about in Congress, and you know exactly which talking points they're going to be using for that week.
Why can't they just say the facts and then like let we are smart enough as humans to decipher like what the message is or what how to think about it, but yet they feel like they need to like be like, you should feel sad about this, or this is the way you should think about this. Yeah. Like that isn't news reporting. That's propaganda at that point.
This is where you get down to the control aspect of things. They want to tell you what to think. They don't want you to realize how to think. So they don't want you taking a story and going, okay, I'm going to look up 4 different sources from this story, and I'm going to look at what all 4 sources are saying, and then I'm going to make my mind up about it. They don't want you doing that. They just want you to hear what they say and then think the exact way they tell you to think. They've done that with COVID. They didn't want you going on the Versus website and actually looking up the adverse effects of this vaccine. I'm sorry, that's one of the first things that I did when they rolled out the vaccine was to actually go to the Versus website and actually look up the information, because they have to publish it. They may not publish all of it, but they have to publish at least some of it. So they don't want you doing your own reading. They don't want you thinking for yourself. They want you being the useful idiot. And I wasn't real good at obedience classes. I tend to do my own research on things.
You ain't fucking lying.
Yeah, my wife's going back there. You ain't lying. I didn't do real good at obedience. It's that whole, I might bite the mailman every once in a while.
You're going to get murdered by a redhead tonight, I feel, Coop.
Probably. If she ain't done it in the last 8 years, she ain't going to do it.
What?
I've had plenty of reasons for her to murder me in the last, 8, 9 years, 10 years? Yeah. She might wait till I'm a little older and then stand on my air hose or something, but she's not going to do it right.
No, that's awesome that you all are both doing the SCI thing, man. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. But it's, getting into this stuff, if more people would, we're all busy. We all have lives. We all got work, we got girlfriends, we got wives, we got kids, we got fishing and hunting and all this other stuff that takes up our time. But if more people would take a little bit of time to actually hone their thinking skills and do a little bit of research, we'd be a lot better off. But people don't want to do that.
They want to be spoon-fed everything. Like it's too much work to actually go out and research something yourself. Unfortunately, these days, it's kids take up everything, especially the younger ones. It's like, the video I shot last night, SDI, I'm sitting here filming, and all of a sudden I got the cranky kid coming in here. Yeah, they take up everything. But, Lego landmines.
Yeah, they're freaking great. I mean, kids are the hardest, best thing you will probably ever do in your life. But it is what it is. I mean, our parents went through a lot of that. We go through it. Our kids hopefully will go through that kind of stuff. they're freaking great, you know. And especially watching these little people grow and get their own likes and dislikes and their own attitudes and tempers. It can be frustrating, but it's actually really damn fun.
Listen to this, because I remember I told you I went and watched the Young Turk video, and I made a couple comments on it.
Oh yeah.
I just got an update. Somebody commented back because some guy commented, "Sad thing is, I'm going to have to sit down my 4-year-old, sit my 4-year-old down, explain to him what mass shootings are, and that he's not really safe at school. It would be negligent of me not to do this, despite the fact I shouldn't have to expose him to such darkness at his age." And then somebody said back, let's see, explain to your children what a prostitute is and tell them that's what politicians are.
Yeah. It's, Josh Shapiro posted something about, I can't remember what it was. And I posted on there that, my 5-year-old came up to me and wanted to know how to solve some problem with an AK. I can't remember whether I said ejection or whatever with an AK. In other words, his child's never said that. My child probably has asked me questions about an AK. At least she was in the ballpark. Because my 5-year-old has actually sat down with me building guns and handed me tools and asking questions about what each part of the gun was. It just, it drives me nuts.
That's awesome.
Yeah, why don't you sit your children down and explain to them that their politicians are absolutely useless? That would be the better conversation. Like, they could put literally billions of dollars into hardening schools and making sure that someone couldn't just walk on school grounds at any minute of the day, but they won't do it.
Like when my dad went to school, they had, in shop class, they would make shotgun racks in the back of their truck. And you go out in the high school parking lot, and there was trucks with shotguns in the back. And in elementary schools, teachers there, they'd have, a Winchester model, like a Model 6, what is it, 64, or Winchester Model 70, like sitting in the back window or something. It's like there was nobody's shooting anybody or anything. It's like guns haven't changed. There were ARs back then too. There's the M1 carbine was more the AR of the day back then, but it it's people have changed. Guns haven't changed.
Yeah, well that's one of my arguments with some of this stuff. Okay, AK-47s. Okay, 47. That's the year that gun actually started off. That's the year it was actually adopted. So that gun has been around since 47. Okay, the AR has been around since the 60s.
Actually, mid 50s. Well, first in the AR-10, and then the late 50s, then the 5.56 version.
Yep.
The X-15.
Yeah, you're 100% right. But the AR-15 was originally available on the civilian market. You could get it mailed to your door with cash with no background check.
Yep, because it was around before the Kennedy assassination, so it wasn't until the GCA of 1968 that you couldn't have it shipped to your.
That's it. So the 68 changed all the FFL stuff. Now, like, I'm 45 years old. The people that are older than me remember stuff kind of like your dad does. Okay, if you went to a high school, especially in a rural area, there were shotgun racks in the back of the pickup trucks with shotguns in them.
Because they used to have shooting. They used to have shooting classes in my dad's high school.
Yeah,
dude, my father-in-law can tell you about the day. It
was an elective. Like, it was an elective you could take.
That's awesome.
My father-in-law can tell you about right here in this town where he got on the bus with his rifle, rode the bus with his rifle, went to the school, checked his rifle in, went to class, did the shooting competitions, picked his rifle up, and went home with it. There weren't any school shootings. So you tell me the firearms technology hasn't changed at all in the last, 60 years, 70 years. But now you see these shootings. You tell me what's changed since the firearms happened.
And it's like they say, like, oh, well, it's just because, all these, like, broken families. Like, there was broken families back then. There was kids that were abusive homes and had alcoholic parents, and it still didn't do that type of crap, man. Like, it's there's just something like the way, I think it's.
No,
I mean,
sir.
what the hell do I know? But I mean, I think the lack of nuclear families nowadays, and just the general, everybody's being lied to, man. Like kids don't know what to believe because there's just so many lies nowadays.
Well, I'll draw it down to this, and it's a complicated issue, but we'll boil things down. Okay. Before I got out of school, we started telling kids that everything's about your feelings and everything's about you, and you are the center of the world, basically. So now, if I'm the center of the world, when you hurt me, then I feel perfectly fine going and hurting other people. That's one of the biggest issues that I can see. That's what's happened in the last few years or the last couple decades, really, that has really kicked some of this stuff off. We quit telling people if a bully messes with you in school, well, you either beat him or you make it so hard on him he doesn't want to mess with you anymore. That was early on when I was in school. And then it got to zero tolerance, where even if you defended yourself against the bully, where you're getting punished too. And now we have these kids who think everything is just this monumental end of the world thing. And the more and more we push this, it's all about you thing, the higher and higher the child suicide rate gets. More and more these school shootings happen. So, hold on, where's my mouse at? What's up, Tackle?
Hey, how's it going? Hey, I hear you guys talking about the technology and what's not changed, and I just had to chime in. I hate to say it, but what's changed is the general population don't take care of the damn kids anymore.
Yeah, you're right about that.
It's technology, babysitting children, not creating core values, not teaching our children the value of life. And at the end of the day, a lot of people blame video games or other things, but it's parents.
Yeah, it's life has become very and everything's become about you. So, if you can't get along with so and so, well, you can go ahead and have sex. You can kill the child, and then you can just erase everything and then go about your business.
I've had this drum mag since I was, I think, 12 or 13 years old. My aunt, it was my year. I used to always drag my aunt to the gun shows because, she had just became a pharmacist and she, making money, and she was an awesome aunt. So she would buy me stuff at the gun show, and I had just assembled my first AR, and so I've had this stuff since I was 12. I played all sorts of video games. I never once thought of killing anybody or doing anything like that. And I got there, and I was fat for my earlier years of high school. I got picked on, called a fat ass. I never thought of the people that were being mean to me. Oh, I'm going to show them. No. I got in shape, and then when I one day had enough, and I fucking hit him in the face. It's not kids are
he took the high road. I chose not to get in shape, but I still punched him in the face.
Well, they were right for calling me a fat ass. So I was a fat ass, and I'm kind of glad they did because it just helped me out in other aspects of life. But not that.
No, I 100% agree. But at the end of the day, one of the things that I just like to say, and people fail to realize is people aren't honest with themselves either about their kids. Back in the day, if you were a window licker, your fucking dad would tell you, dude, you're a fucking window licker, get your shit straight. And nowadays, people are like, there's nothing wrong with my child, they're just special. I'm like, no, you got a fucking moron for a kid. Teach them something.
Yeah,
and it's the same thing as far as mental health. Nobody wants to agree that their kid needs help.
Yeah.
You can tell my daughter needs fucking psychology help. She's me, but 4.
Yeah, well, you see these people all the time, and one of the shooters, and I won't mention his name, his mom knew that he was on the spectrum of autism. He was having some serious issues, and she was changing a lot of things in his life and would not get him help. So he ended up killing her, taking her guns, and then he went and did the shooting because she simply wouldn't admit that my child needs help.
Did you guys see the video of the the grandfather they're living with? Because he killed his grandmother. I imagine that was a woman that was with this guy, but you could just see the indifference, or hear the indifference, and see the indifference in the interview. I don't know if it was CNN or MSNBC, but that's one of the things I'm glad they actually did that interview, because you could just, the guy. I'm not saying if you're a felon or whatever that you can't be a good person later in life, because I know a lot of people that have gotten in trouble in their youth and are good people now, but. This guy was like a former, had gotten in some trouble because he said, "I can't have guns in the house. I'm a felon." But you could just tell. I'm not pointing that out specifically, but you could tell some other things he said, like, "Oh, I had no idea what was going on. He was a quiet kid. He had trouble living with his mother and didn't get along with his mom." And it's just like, check on your kid. Talk to him. Ask him questions. Let him know you love him. Like kids need to be taught to respect life, and one of the best things you do that is show them love, teach them love.
Yeah, and that gets back to what Tack was saying, and that is teaching your child a set of values. Life is important. Life is precious. I've told my daughter's 5. We talk about things on her level. Whether it's firearms or anything else. And we have those discussions all the time. And my daughter can be a drama queen. God knows, little baby girl can be a drama queen. So there are things I have to take with a grain of salt. But I tell my daughter all the time, if you're having problems with someone in school, okay, as long as they don't put their hands on you, they're cool. Let it go. Now,
you have to say the grandmother survived. I thought she had died. Anyway, go on, sorry.
I didn't know whether she survived or not. So I think she got shot. He posted on Facebook. I think she survived. But you explain things to these kids though is life is a precious thing. Other people, just because they're an annoyance to you, you don't get to hurt them. Because God knows, if I went around hurting everybody who annoyed me, there'd be a lot less idiots in this world.
Fucking trail of tears, I tell you.
Yeah, it would. I'd have to spend a lot more on bullets at this point. But you don't get to do that. So it's
and it's the thing too, is people even the whole statements of, oh, he was quiet and he kept to himself and he was this and he was that. I'm like, do you guys not watch any true crime documentaries?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
For Christ's sake, I live in Wisconsin. Yeah, I live in Wisconsin. The shit's in the fucking water. If somebody keeps to themselves, that's a red flag in and of itself. All these kids today, they're making TikToks, they're fucking on Instagram, they're doing this, they're doing that, they're trying to be fucking popular. What's this kid doing? Oh, he keeps to himself and he fucking murders squirrels in the backyard, but there's nothing wrong with him. It's just normal shit, right?
I
we
think
all dissected fucking doves in the backyard.
I think it was the shooter in Buffalo. I think his mom caught him bludgeoning cats to death.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, if your child's doing that, little Timmy has issues, and we need to get him looked at because that's not a normal thing.
Right, but it comes back to the whole thing. There's nothing wrong with my child because it's my child. I literally, and this is no disrespect to my neighbor. My neighbor is a teacher. She teaches elementary school. Her 3-year-old daughter is probably 3 years behind delayed-wise, and they just finally picked up on it a fucking week and a half ago. It's yo, I noticed that shit a year and a half ago, but you're a teacher, and I'm not the one who's going to say something.
Yeah.
Your fucking 3-year-old's basically fucking Tim Allen over here grunting shit out.
Dude, I've had them through the years where they want to push their children into the trades. Well, so-and-so can't handle this academic stuff, so we're going to push them into the trades. Well, I'm sorry, little Timmy can't figure out how to open the cap on his Jell-O. There's no way he's going to figure out how to weld a structure together. So we need to get him in another direction because he ain't making it.
Well, that's a completely different topic. There's a whole lot of disrespect over people in the trades and people doing construction
absolutely.
or manual labor, and it's like half you motherfuckers who are out here as engineers, and like I'm an engineer, but half the fucking people I work with are dumb as shit.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like, congratulations, you have read 35,000 books. What have you done with your fucking hands?
Yeah,
dude, I had a conversation with a guy who runs a structural business here in town today, and talking about dealing with engineers when they actually draw up plans to do certain systems they have to do and everything they go through. Because yes, that engineer has read 30,000 books. He is exceptionally smart. He can't walk across the street and not get hit on his own.
Yeah,
So,
I'll go ahead and say it. For anybody who works with engineers, if you are an engineer or you know an engineer who never actually consults with the people who are building the shit he's designing or working on, that's not an engineer. It's somebody who's fucking read a book.
oh, dude, he was telling the story today. He said they had to build this massive staircase, went up like 24 floors. And this engineer couldn't figure out why they couldn't build it in one set and then put it on a truck and then ship it. And he was like, what did he tell me? He said, how many helicopters have you seen fly over with 24-story staircases attached to them? Because that's how we'd have to ship it. Because we can't put it on the back of the truck.
It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, so the engineer finally caught on and was like, oh, yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's why we got to ship it in that many people. Yeah, that's why you have structural guys on site to assemble it. You idiot.
No, we spend. I mean, I'm literally in the middle of a project right now where I've got an entire company who spent 15 years run by engineers.
Oh yeah, go with God. So I just
we're doing good, and the thing is I've pushed this engineered for manufacturing thing. And when you talk to an engineer and you say something like that, they completely get confused. But the production guys are like, oh, dude, oh my God, you just saved me 200 hours of production. Like, yeah, this is fucking easy, guys. Like, why do you have 32 different materials to build one piece of equipment? Like the saw, the M249 saw is made from 4 different pieces of material.
Your good engineers, your actual good engineers, actually started out with some field experience. That way they know how everything is done before they started designing it. Your bad engineers went to school, went to college, got a degree, and then they design stuff on paper and expect you to build it. And then they wonder why something can't get done when you're trapped in a corner with a half-inch of clearance, and you have to weld it together.
But it worked on the computer.
Oh yeah, it'll work on phone. It works all day long.
Yeah. What the stress analysis on
take that CAD and shove it up your butt, dude.
Yeah, man. Dude, there's been plenty of times I've worked on stuff where I've looked at the print and I was like, if I could get my hands on this engineer who drew this, yeah, I would choke them the fuck out at this point. Yeah, just thumbs and Adam's apple. Just
well, you've obviously worked on a minivan before.
Actually, I think I have.
As an engineer, I got to head out, but as an engineer, one of my favorite jokes is literally, I am pretty sure that at some point a mechanic slept with an engineer's wife. And that engineer worked for an automotive manufacturer. And he said, fuck these assholes. I'm going to make their life fucking miserable.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Tack, you got a show going on tonight, man? Go ahead and throw it out there.
Yeah, I do. My YouTube, 9 o'clock tonight-ish, maybe. Depends if the kids allow it. It's the bi-weekly Maz at work, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, I remember having you having to end the show not too long back because, of course, daughter walked in. But, hey, when my daughter gets home, 5 years old, everything comes off. I have to practically duct tape the underwear on her so she at least has something on, so I understand.
Bring it here. Yeah,
Good
no,
God.
I completely sympathize, understand it. I don't actually blame my daughter. I don't care. Like, if that's how you want to rock around the house, you fucking go, girl.
Yeah,
Just understand that you need to learn how to punch somebody in the dick and shoot him in the face, all right?
that's it. Anyway, Tack, I might end this in a minute, try to get me a little bit of sleep so I can catch your stream tonight. So, anyway, take it easy, brother. If I don't see you tonight, man, we'll catch you after a while.
No problem. Do whatever you got to do. Have a good one, folks.
All right, brother.
Later.
Well, yeah, guys, I think I'm going to end this one here. I'm going to go chill out for a little bit. I might catch me a little bit of a nap. I'm done with most of my STI homework. We're through the first semester. I just got to see whether all the video is going to come through on this next PowerPoint, and as long as that comes through, I'll make it through with an A.
Sounds good, man. I got to go get some dinner and stuff anyway. So,
well, you guys chill, get some dinner, man, and if you can, catch Tactical Pineapple here in a little while. Morning Star, you're late. No, just kidding.
Well, that's my fault. I posted the stream in the DLD deal, but of course I waited until we were like an hour and a half, 2 hours in. So
yeah, because like I said, this stream was just a stream of me goofing off. So this wasn't anything serious. Hell, I didn't expect anybody to show up. So next one I'll do a little bit more serious. But
nice, Bull Rush.
Anyway, Bull, you guys take them easy. Corn Pop, Morning Star, AD. I'm out, Perps. You guys get something to eat, and we'll see you on the next one.
Later, guys.
Yep. I'm out, brother. We'll catch you on the next one, man. Take them easy.